So why don't we start first with one of the teams taking place this weekend. In fact, Monday night. Hey, yo, Cowboy fan, how y'all living? Have you bounced back yet from that utter beatdown that y'all caught from Sam Howell and the backup Commanders on Sunday? Yeah, I didn't think so. I would need more time, too. Turns out watching your alleged franchise QB get outplayed by a dude who had never taken an NFL snap before can be pretty demoralizing. I mean, who knew? Wild, right? Just as demoralizing, if not devastating. Again, happy hump day, perv.
That was devastating.
Devastating is watching said completely inexperienced fifth-round rookie QB get over on your allegedly vaunted Cowboy defense. Also, not good. So it would be pretty understandable if Cowboy fan is both gripping and tripping heading into Monday's wildcard round game against Bacon 45 and the Bucs. However, you know who's not going to panic. You know who is confident. The dude who is always confident. Of course, I'm speaking of Jerry Jones. You see, to Jera, that beatdown was exactly what they needed. That beatdown was just motivation. To Jera, that beatdown was the perfect playoff wake-up call. Because now the Cowboys get to stew on that humiliation all week long. Except stew, unfortunately, is not the word that Jerry used after the loss on Sunday. I don't know what's goofier, talking about sucking on a loss all week or suggesting that that's all he has to say on that topic or on any topic. Because as long as Jera is drawing breath and above ground, he will always have more to say. He's going to find a microphone or a camera or a mirror or a brick wall, and he is going to bump those geriatric gums. And he's going to talk about circumcising mosquitoes or severed arms or Bourbon Street or the glory days.
Glory hole days.
You see, the only silver lining for this Cowboy fan is that maybe the potential humiliation on Sunday night may be the proverbial straw that breaks big Mike McCarthy's back. I mean, coming off that horrific loss to Washington, isn't that one of the biggest questions coming into Wildcard Weekend? Is Big Mike coaching for his job? I mean, obviously he is, right? A loss to a sub-500 Bucs team in the wildcard round could cost him his job. And, I mean, certainly another beatdown would absolutely get this guy run, right? It's a given, right? Apparently not if Jera has anything to say about it. At least that's what Jera is saying about it. Because Jera came right out, and he murdered that idea live on radio on 105.3 The Fan in Dallas. You see, Cowboy player might be sucking on that loss this week. But right now, Cowboy fan is sucking on this. No hemming, no hawing, no hesitation, no hee-hawing. Just no. And in reaction to that, every single Cowboy fan is pulling out their own emphatic no. You see, Jera isn't just high on Big Mike right about now. I'm not sure I've ever heard anybody more high on anything at all. Or frankly, just sound more high in general. You see, Jera isn't just high on Big Mike right about now. I'm not sure I've ever heard anybody more high on anything at all. Or frankly, just sound more high in general. We are talking about the same coaching staff, aren't we, Jera? Did you just say they've got, quote, every nuance? They've got everything in their grasp and in their understanding? Are we talking about Big Mike? Listen, I know Dan Quinn did an admirable job this year in coaching up that defense, at least until late, at least until he got torched by the Commanders' backups and a rookie QB in his debut in a game that, frankly, Dallas did need. But before that, Dan Quinn had done a pretty good job. The defense was solid. In fact, better than solid. But what planet do you have to be on or be from to think that Big Mike has, quote, every nuance covered? There's nothing nuanced about Big Mike. Every nuance? Like every detail, every nuance. Okay, all right, fine. Yeah, every nuance except 2-minute drills, except clock management, except getting the franchise quarterback to play like a franchise quarterback. But sure, besides that, he's got everything in his grasp and his understanding. I mean, thinking crazy things has never stopped Jera from saying crazy things and doing crazy things. Hell, that's his brand. And yes, it is his team, but he obviously does not give a damn about Cowboys fan. At least not what Cowboys fan thinks, because the last thing Cowboy fan wants to hear right about now is that Big Mike is safe and that Sean Payton is not coming to Big D. Listen, I'm not saying, I want to be very clear about this. I'm not saying that Dallas is going to lose to Tampa Bay. At least I'm not saying it here. If you want my prediction, you have to go to Jim Rome's Big Head Bets, which will push out tomorrow. And no, you don't just get them picks. You also get them podcast info. But for our purposes here, I'm not saying that Dallas is going to lose to the Bucs Monday. That's not what this take's about. I'm not saying they're going to lose to the Bucs. But I will say Tom Brady has never lost to the Cowboys. Fact. That's right. Bacon 45. That's right. Bacon 45 is a career 7-0 against Jera's boys. 5-0 with the Pats, 2-0 with Tampa, because that's not ominous or anything. Let me leave you with one more ominous stat, Cowboy fan. Dallas is 11-1 on the turf this year. Pretty impressive, right? Unfortunately, they play on Bermuda grass in Tampa. And what do you know? Go figure this. On grass, the Cowboys are only 1-4. And that one win came against the Joshua Dobbs-led and King Henry-less Titans. So if all of that were not enough to make you nearly choke up a lung, Cowboy fan, I don't know what is.
Excuse me.
Now, of course, many of you, many of you know, do I sound all right?
Get me some oxygen.
My lung is halfway up my throat. Do I sound all right?
Better still.
I just said Big Mike is safe. Does that sound like somebody who's all right? Anyway, many of you Cowboy fans know much of this, which is why so many of you are expecting the worst come Monday night, and why so many of you are already ready to swap out Big Mike for Sean Payton, if you could in fact convince Sean Payton to take that gig. However, Jera does not sound anywhere near ready to make a big move on Big Mike no matter what happens in Tampa. And Cowboy fan, you may just have to suck on that not only all week but all off season. I mean, Jerry Jones's patience does tell me one thing. My man is not on a schedule.
My schedule.
He's not. Or his schedule is different than our schedule.
My schedule.
But it should be. But for other reasons. Like, not to be morbid, but my man apparently is not in any kind of time crunch with the Grim Reaper. That in the basement of his mansion, he must have some sort of fully functional, working, cryogenic machine that can slow down or even reverse the aging process and keep his cadaver alive so much longer than our kids can dream of. In fact, the fact that he's willing to wait for McCarthy to figure this thing out and thinks that he will and doesn't want to give him that time tells me that probably Jera's sons and daughters will be able to lug around their own Jera bomb pop, like the Teddy bomb pop back in the day. You know, lug it around, luxury suite to luxury suite for years to come. And then after games, one of the great grandkids can just lay Jared's head on a table, and the media just gathers around like it's a magic crystal ball, or maybe one of the grandkids. Remember that old little toy, that magic 8-ball, the crystal 8-ball, where you shook it up, and then in that little blue water that looked like that Barber herbicide, the little message would come up? That could be like Jared's head. Just shake on Grandpa Jared's head and say, keep Big Mike, fire Big Mike, extend Big Mike, lose Sean Payton's number. I mean, my man's acting and sounding like he's got all the time in the world. Listen, I understand that we are all day to day. And I'm not exactly the Mayo Clinic here. But isn't my guy like hour to hour? Or minute to minute? Or second to second? I mean, he is 80 and sounds older and looks older than that. I mean, still kind of sharp. Anyway, you could give the big fella, Mike McCarthy, a decade to figure it out, and that's just not going to happen. But you expect this guy to figure it all out between now and Monday. Good luck with that, Jera. Have fun circumcising another mosquito.
Circumcising the mosquito.
You Cowboy fan? How's that taste? How's that grab you? Big Mike's good, no matter
we get
what.
to suck on that all week.
Jera. I mean, you know Jera. Jera will spin, and Jera will reverse course. Jera's been known to change his mind, but he was pretty emphatic right there. No. The outcome of that game will have no bearing on what happens to Big Michael. Yeah, I'm guessing it might, honestly. You're going up against a sub-500 team with a 12-win team yourself, and you had all sorts of designs on a world championship this year. Every contender in the NFC is flawed right now. Are you really going to tell me that if they go to Tampa and they get beat badly by a sub-500 team, that that's going to have no bearing on Big Mike? I'm not looking to get anybody fired, but that better have a bearing on Big Mike, or there are no consequences. Well, that's the best job ever. Why even keep score then?